Hi, Aunt Bev. It's your niece Colette. I've known you my whole life. For most of my life, I called you Aunt Beverly, but my kids call you Aunt Beb. Famous for your pool, famous for your homemade ice cream. Years and years of memories of family reunions and potlucks at your house and your zucchini casserole. I love you dearly and happy birthday.
Hi Beverly, you've been an awesome neighbor. You provided a swimming pool where all 28 of my descendants have learned to swim. I remember one special time when we were all gone and Kathleen was riding her horse, and she fell off the horse and got all skinned up, and you picked her up and sent her home to get cleaned up, and it was wonderful to know that you were there for us when we needed you. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Beverly. One of my favorite memories of you is when we got this bummer lamb and we were kind of letting it free range and stuff, and that Lammy got older and older, and pretty soon it's an adult ewe. And you very quietly and very nicely told me that you'd prefer to prune your own bushes. I thought that was delightful. I've told that story many times. So thank you again for being such a wonderful neighbor all these years, and have a wonderful birthday.
Hello, Beverly. We first met when I was 4.5 years old, so however long ago that was. And my first memory that I can say is a real memory is playing with Rachel at your house and our house. And I don't know if it really is, but I think it was the first day that we moved into our house. I loved how you were always there and just kind of keeping an eye on us, and we were able to just treat the entire space as our own playground where everything was okay for us to play, and you were watching and my parents were watching, and it was amazing. So thank you for being such a great neighbor. Love you.
Hi Mom, happy birthday on your 90th birthday, October 7th, 2017. You have a great day. We're going to have a lot of people showing up today. So you have a great day.
Beverly, congratulations on 90 years lived to the glory of God. I think back of your life and I think of all the vicissitudes of life that you have overcome. You have been a strong, strong woman and a real role model for your family. Nobody with any less vigor could have done it like you did it. And we're proud of you, and we wish you many, many more birthdays and good health. I love you very much, and I thank you for all the input you've had in my life, going back to when I was a little girl and you'd babysit me, and I'm sure I was a real pill. And anything you did to me, I certainly deserved. But I love you very much, and God bless you.
Well, Bev, this is, well, it's I love you, and you know that, and it's, we're going to miss you. We're missing you at the church, but I hope that you'll be able to make it there tomorrow. I enjoyed those dinners that Jane and I had at your place, and then all over town I see where you've donated money to different stuff. The Art Center and the Y and other places. And, well, I just don't have much to say, but I do miss you. I wish you were here now. Okay.
Hi, Beverly. I'm so glad I could come today for your big birthday. We've been cousins for a long time, and I hope we continue for a lot longer. Have a great day. Our love, Mark and Anita.
This is Shirley, and I've known you for a long time, and wish you many more happy returns and a long life.
Hi Bev, this is Mary, Beta Sigma Phi in the Epsilon Master Chapter. I am now officially, because I sent in the information to International, and the old Alpha Eta is now dark. So anyway, it's an honor to be here for your 90th birthday, and hope we're here for your 100th birthday. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
About Granny Bev. Well, she was always there, no matter what. Every Christmas, every Thanksgiving, lots of food. And the pool, she always wanted us to come down to the pool and play around, which I was always willing to do. She's was always sweet and kind to me. And she's a good grandmother overall. I love her very much.
Okay, I'm John Burkhart, Beverly's first cousin, and I remember Beverly from the time I was big enough to walk. And the big event when I was a kid was the pool. We could always count on having a good time, and I looked forward to coming out to visit. So, and I wish you a really happy 90th birthday, Beverly. Nice to see you.
I'm Ron Shaw, and I've been in the family for several years by marriage, and I've over the years have been able to enjoy Beverly and her family. I've had the opportunity in the past few years to go out with Helen Burkhart and Helen Burkhart and Beverly to different places, and I've really enjoyed that, and I kind of miss it because we haven't done it in quite some time. I love you, Beverly, and I wish you a very happy birthday.
Hi, I'm Rachel Christian, and I am Beverly Christian's granddaughter, only granddaughter, and I would like to say happy birthday, 90 years, wow, and I would like to let people know that Beverly Christian was my mother in all aspects except for being my mother. She raised me, she taught me how to be a good person, and I love you for it.
Hi, Bev. This is your cousin Kathy. I have to tell you, I sort of said in the card what I was thinking, and that's that you have been involved in my life for as far back as I can remember. As a little girl, I didn't have any playmates in the neighborhood. I was the only girl and no children nearby except for your boys. So I spent all my time, it seemed like, at your house, and you were very tolerant of me, allowed me to be there all the time. And I feel like you practically raised me as well as my mom, so I was grateful for that always. And I look forward to coming to your place. I always did as a child. You're the one that taught me so many things, and I had mentioned that also, that you taught me how to work, because back in those days, you were raising that family alone pretty much. Neil was not healthy, and you and he were raising those kids, and they had to work to get to do things. And I wanted to do things with them. I wanted to go water skiing and play in the river and have campouts. So I had to learn to work with them back then too, and I really appreciated that. But I'm 73 years old, you're 90. I can't remember a time in my life that you weren't practically a next door neighbor, and I've always admired you and loved you and grateful that you were my cousin and that we could spend all those years together. I've enjoyed our later association. We were in Alpha Delta Kappa together in different chapters. We go to MNO together. I enjoyed playing cards back in the days with you and Neil. And I don't know, just thank you for everything that you've done and been in my life. And I think it's amazing that you got to this age. And one more thing I want to say is I was so grateful you spent so much time with my mom, because she really was happy to get to play cards in the groups that you were in, and the fact that you drove her places sometimes, and just the great influence you were on me and on my family, and I appreciate that. I love you for it, and happy 90th birthday.
Hi, I'm Dennis Whitten. I've known Beverly since probably I was about 6 years old. I remember she was our school bus driver, and I rode her bus until I got my driver's license. She's always been a great person and a great neighbor. So happy birthday, Beverly.
Beverly, and I remember some of my earliest memories, of course, were actually I grew up thinking of you and some of my other cousins as aunts and uncles because of the age difference, which doesn't seem so great now. But I very distinctly remember that so many times you have hosted family get-togethers at your house, and the things that went on there in your yard and in the river, of course, the skiing and all that, and that was all significant points in my life as we all got together there, and your hosting was pretty special. So we wish you many more to come.
My name is Ayla Christian, and Beverly is my great-grandmother on my mother's side. My whole life growing up, she always let us spend time playing in her pool, on her backyard, in the grass, swinging on a swing that was decorated with yellow and pink flowers. And I always remember going down to the river where we would boat around and swim and float. She was really kind in allowing us to have such great summers at her house.
Beverly, it is terrific to be here at your birthday party, but I remember best meeting you for the first time. It was the mid-1980s and I just moved into Quail Lane, and I went over to meet a neighbor because I had some questions and they pointed me in your direction. So I went down there, and who did I find on the roof of her house but Beverly, up there repairing the roof of your house. Well, it's been a nice neighborhood to live in, and you've been the star. And in the meantime, of course, some years later, I met and married Diane, and since that time we've had the opportunity to spend some time with you, go to church with you, and we look forward to seeing your smiling face every Sunday. So, with great love, we wish you the greatest of happiness. Take care, Bev.
Hi, I remember the first time I met Bev when Terry and I got married. He lived there on Quail Lane, and she came up to me at church my first day at First Christian, and she said, "Hi, I'm your neighbor, Bev Dull, and I have a swimming pool, and you send your girls down anytime." She said they can swim in the river, whatever, and she was just so sweet to approach me like that. Because I really didn't know anybody here, and that was 20-some years ago now. So I really appreciate her friendship. She's got a loving, giving heart, and Bev, we love you.
I'm Kurt Christian. Neil Christian, Beverly's husband, was my first cousin, and so I've known Beverly for many, many years. Really began to get acquainted with her though when we moved down south in 1972, and she was going to the Riversdale Sunday School. So Beverly, happy birthday, 95th.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Pastor Daniel Malapudi, and I serve as pastor at First Christian Church, where Bev is a Treasure Church family member, and I just want to say how much we love her and grateful for her and her life. She's a beautiful soul, beautiful life, and it's the kind of people that you just have the joy and the privilege of just knowing her and loving her. And so happy birthday to her. We love her, and we're so glad to be a part of her life. Thank you.
Yeah, I had the privilege of working with Bev with the BLM from 1968. Yeah, 1968 to 1985 when I retired. And she was a good person to work with. She knew, she was just outstanding. She was one of the key people in the contracting world with the BLM, and there was a lot of contracts. And she knew contracts. Well, she was the expert. That's, if you ever had a problem, wondered exactly what to do under a contract for your contractors, go check with Bev. She would put you on the right path. It was a real privilege. She was an outstanding person to work with, and I really enjoyed it. My wife here has a story that just happened yesterday, and she'll tell you this interesting story.
A friend of mine in her salon downtown, and a gentleman came in, and I was talking to him while I was cutting his hair, and all of a sudden we got to talking about the type of work he did, and apparently he had a big crew that went and planted trees for the BLM. He had like 100-man team. And he was stating that then the BLM decided to not do that anymore. And so he was telling me some stories about Bev, that if there was ever a problem, he walked directly into her office and talked to her, and it was taken care of immediately. And it was interesting because he also stated that the last time he went in, they said, well, you can't just walk right in there and talk to her. You have to go through some other people first. And he says, oh, no, I don't. I go right directly to Bev. And that was his answer, and he really had nothing but praise to say about her. And everybody, all the women I know, have had so much appreciation for everything that she's done, for everything in Douglas County.
Well, Aunt Bev has been a real constant part in my life, just having grown up on the farm and coming back to the farm. My fondest memories of holidays truly are the May I games that used to happen down at Aunt Bev's house, with my birthday being the day after Christmas. A lot of times I got my first birthday celebration in the final rounds of May I. I can in my mind see different faces that have been part of our family throughout the years, different events, different new faces we've lost. Seems like around that card table is really where I remember some of the best times.
Hi, Beverly. I'm your neighbor, Jeannie Burpee. We live down the lane. John couldn't be here today. He has a cold and didn't want to spread it. We've raised our family on Quail Lane and have known you for 40 years. We're glad that the Cruz family decided that we could be part of the neighborhood. It's been wonderful knowing you, and I certainly am happy to have done so.
Hi, Beverly. Keith Burkhardt here, wishing you a happy 90th birthday. I still think back about the days when I used to come up here in the summer and swim in the pool and go down the river, and all the family events we'd do here when I'd come up from California when we were living down here. And glad to see you doing well, and hope you have another 90 years to go. Probably not, but happy birthday.
Don Cruz, Beverly brother. We're here celebrating her 90th birthday, and that makes me feel kind of old, although she is about 3.5 years older than I am, but still I'm crowding up there. Beverly has been a very hard-working, determined person. Her husband Neil was a best man when Sally and I got married in 1950. Came home from our honeymoon, and Neil was in the hospital in Eugene in an iron lung. Had polio, and it affected his lungs, and he nearly died up there. And you might say from that time on, he was pretty much an invalid. At one time he almost died. He was starving to death, and I think he got down to where he weighed a little under 100 pounds, and his normal weight was about 165, I think. But anyway, Beverly had 3 young boys to support, and she drove a school bus, and in the summertime she drove the school bus to the bean patches. At that time, most of the beans were hand-picked. They were pole beans, and they were hand-picked, and they picked up the kids in town about right after daylight and brought them out to the bean patches, and when they got them there, then she was a kind of a row boss for them, and then hauled them back to town, and then during the school year, well, she drove a school bus, and because that enabled her to be home when the kids were home, and so it was really a good job for her in her conditions. But Beverly has always been what I call been a survivor, and she's a very determined person, and hardworking, and a little bit stubborn, and she got her stubbornness from me, because I don't have any. So, but anyway, happy birthday, Beverly.